Here now, our gospel from the Gospel of Luke. You've all heard the story from Luke of what happens at birth of Messiah. The very next thing that Luke tells us skips 12 years ahead and finds Jesus and his parents in his young adulthood, his very young adulthood, visiting the temple in Jerusalem. Hear these words from Luke chapter 2. Now, every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up as usual to the festival. And when it was over, they started to return. But the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. But his parents didn't know it. Assuming that he was in the group of travelers, they went a day's journey. And they started to look for him among their relatives and their friends. And when they didn't find him, they returned to Jerusalem to search for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and at his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, "Where have you been?" No. "Child, why have you treated us like this? Look, your father and I have been searching for you in great anxiety." And he said to them, "Why were you searching for me? Did you not know that I must be in my father's house?" But they did not understand what he said to them. Then he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was obedient to them. And his mother treasured all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and in years and in divine and human favor. Here ends the reading. Will you pray with me? Lord, send your word to us that together we might know your way and your will. May what we think about, how we act on it, and how we treat others clothe us with what you would have us go into the world dressed right. Amen. So, fun facts about the hula hoop. The hula hoop was invented in 1958, or at least it became a marketing craze in 1958. It was originally from Australia, and it was originally a bamboo hoop. People played with it, and the beginning founders of the company Wham-O, remember Wham-O? They make frisbees, but they started off with hula hoops. And when they saw it, they thought, this would be great, and we can make them cheap. They did this new thing. They tried a new feature. They tried the newfangled television. And hula hoops became, up to that point, the fastest selling toy ever known on the planet. More people had hula hoops than had ever seen a toy before. They, in just a very few short years, sold something like 60 million of them. Everybody had them, and they were apparently, in the late 50s, the rage at cocktail parties. I think that's because it's a little easier to do when perhaps you have been lubricated. I bring this up because Bell Hooks talks about, in the passage we read, about what it is that we most need to learn about learning. And it's similar to the message that Jesus tried to teach his family too. She says that teaching is not so much about conforming as it is teaching and enlivening to step outside the bounds at the right moment, at the right time. Everybody who has stepped outside of those bounds in the right moment and at the right time has taken with them some wisdom greater than their own. And she says that that's how you transform yourself and the world. She holds in that book, Teaching to Transgress, the idea that the classroom is holy ground, because there it is that those who did not know they were going to be physicists, and who did not know they could dance, or who were sometimes told that they were bad singers, discover that they are illustrious angels and industrious souls. It is transgressing against all that the world has taught you, that has kept down, kept out, kept from. The hula hoop was this learning experience for an American nation that was set in conformity. It was, at the time, a place where to be different was to be wrong or to be suspect. This was the beginning of the pockets of things that were going to become beat poetry and the hippie movement, yes, but at the beginning was the hula hoop, which took people out of their comfort zone, showed them something different, made them look silly in front of others, which was something that lots of folks were told never to try. Jesus, when he goes to the temple, transgresses the social norm even at the age of 12. Right from the beginning, you discover that this kid is not going to be like other kids. He is not going to be the easy one to raise. He is not going to be the one to go to bed on time. He's not going to be one to take the easy answer. He's not going to be the one who is going to let you off the hook. He's going to make you do the hula hoop. He's going to make it happen. And he takes all of us out of our comfort zone by doing so. Now, this story is just a little foretaste of what Luke is going to tell us about this man. This story just lets us know that Jesus is not stuck in the old pattern. Luke is at pains to say that his parents trusted him enough to be with the group, and that he was wise enough not only to learn from, but also to engage others. There is no one-way teaching. There is no one-way teaching. The best master teachers in the world will tell you that they learn from their students every single class. And students asking hard questions are the way that the world is remade, especially when it's been broken to pieces. Why? Why is there a separate bathroom? Why are there 2 drinking fountains here and I can only use one of them? Why can't women be firemen? Why? What keeps men from being nurses? Why? Why can't we host people fleeing other countries? What is it that makes us fear? Do we have to? At the end of every year, there's that time for reassessment. And the invitation as we cross over once again this very artificial threshold. It's just a moment in time. It's one moment just like the next. But we at least allow it to teach us, to transgress from the past, to step out from what we had done last year and into what we might do as it comes. Like Jesus in the temple, we might ask hard questions and we might give different answers. Stepping outside of the lines is the gift of the passage of time. It's a reminder you do not have to be the same, and neither does the world. You do not have to accept the cruelties, the hatreds, the injustices, neither the ones you've perpetrated nor the ones you've had to endure. You may step beyond and seek the wisdom of others, even at the risk of disturbing those you're with. The classroom is a place of disturbance. It is a place of turmoil, and so is life. It is a place where shaking the waters, yes, muddies them and allows the gold to emerge. This teaching each other to love is teaching to transgress beyond the conformity and distance that divides us, to step across that threshold into the new world, and the new year is to step into a new reality. An invitation extended to all of us. Paul says, clothe yourselves. Put on the hula hoop of grace. Shimmy into love and righteousness. Do the unexpected. Do the impossible. In today's service and prayers, there's a station over here that has a single red thread. It comes from the idea, the Chinese idea, that people who are meant to be together, meant to connect to one another, are connected by an invisible red thread that leads from heart to heart to heart to heart, and that you will find your way to the people you're supposed to meet. Some of them might be in this room right now. And why you're supposed to meet them is not always because they're going to be the love of your life. They might be the teacher you need most, who in the moment you do not love so well. They might be the person who speaks the word of truth to you that you need to hear. As Paul says, put on these clothes of compassion and righteousness. Step into new garments for a new time and a new way of being. We would invite you to take one of these red threads, perhaps, and wear it like a stole, or find a way to weave it into a piece of clothing you're going to wear next year. We have only a couple days to think about how we might move into it, but we have 365 to live it out. So be connected to a compassionate idea, to a loving kindness, to a person, a teacher, and teach others. Share your wisdom too. The angels over here, as we've throughout this Advent season shared through the church congregation, are made of bits and pieces of broken junk, but they are angels of courage and rejoicing. And so maybe there's a message for you there too. And over here, a chance to think about what it means to be having words live inside you. We talk about the Word made flesh in the person of Jesus, but there are lots of words that live in us. Are yours the right ones? What would you clothe yourself with this year, this coming year? What is God speaking in your ear? What boundaries do you need to step over in order to learn and to love best and brightest? As the music plays, Dawn's going to ring the peace bell for us that lets us know that we are always in the presence of peace, no matter where we find ourselves. But letting ourselves be more aware of it at this time, I invite you, if you will, to rise and move and pray as you will. You'll find questions in your bulletin to think about if you want to, or better yet, think of your own. For this is holy time, holy ground, made so by all the threads that have drawn us here and given us new threads of thought. Let us be at peace in this place as we pray and work together.